Alright, so I'm back with another Spellforce 3 replay cast. This is going to be a matchup from the losers bracket round 1. And this is going to be a matchup between Zizi and Lurtzer. So we're doing game 1 on Evergreen Forest. And let's get into it. Alright, so we've got Zizi playing as the teal dark elves. And we've got Lurtzer playing as the purple humans. Take a look at hero picks here. Wolfguard commander for Lurtzer, standard opener, and for Zizi, seems to be a standard opener as well. Yep, 3 wood, 1 hunt, and she's going for the Guardian of North. So sending the Spectre forward. Lurtzer's got a scout coming forward. The spider, I'm assuming this is going to be waiting for the Guardian of North to do this creep camp, either that or pulling them to the border so the Guardian can start fighting with the zombies earlier. Good use of the homecoming stone early in the game, just to speed up the creep pathing. Yep, you can see Zizi went to use a spider, the tarantula, to lure the zombies, but Lurtzer had his scout out there. It's just called the Scout. I forgot if they had a particular name other than that. Wolfguard commander just went straight to the front territory, did not go to the side pathing yet. And Zizi's got her Spectre. Let's see if she'll do some harass on the Wolfguard commander. The timing on that cast is so weird for me. I guess it's because I don't play Dark Elves often, but I always feel like it's completed casting, and it's just and I move the Spectre away just to make sure that it doesn't get jumped on, and the spell is not completed. So I'm glad I'm not the only person who misjudges that here and there. Let's see. Where's that scout? I'm not seeing him. Okay, so he's behind the scout's behind the woodcutter, putting some harass in. So Zizi upgraded the scouting post and went food first, wood second, and Lurtzer core stone first. We'll see what he does next. Should probably take this time to give a look on the skill builds. So that scout's gonna move out, stay away from the tarantula. So good, Lurtzer is paying attention to his scout. Seeing that he's not going to be able to freely apply pressure to the wood line anymore, so moving him away. Might get picked off here by these tarantulas, we'll see. Doing a pretty good job of moving him around. Alright, so skill builds, let's see. Lurtzer is on 2 brute force, 2 deep waters, fatal blow, shadow strike, and whirlwind. And for Zizi, that scout is running out. For Zizi, she is on 2 brute force, 2 deep waters, and debilitating blow, soul explosion, and soul transformation. So it's kind of funny, they're both doing 2 brute force, 2 deep waters, and then the first 3 skills on the left hand side. So not that that's incredibly unusual or anything, but interesting to see the exact same layout of point assignments. So Lurtzer's got hunt, and I'm assuming he'll be going for a wood here. Oh no, he's going for barracks. So gonna be getting some infantry out a little bit earlier. Although maybe I should not assume that it's gonna be infantry. It could be crossbows. But I would guess infantry, because if you're going crossbows, you probably want to get that wood up beforehand. Zizi's getting on the Medusa camp on her side of the map. And Lurtzer has the right idea, setting the scout around this area. See what kind of activity is up. So right here, pulling these spiders back is definitely a good habit to build. Just making sure that you're retaining whatever army you have, especially early in the game. Later in the game, losing a couple tarantulas is not going to be a big deal, but if you can just keep a little bit more of your army alive early on, that can make a bigger difference in early skirmishes. But it looks like Zizi's macroing up well behind this. She's got a bunch of sectors expanded. She's got 5 sectors expanded. Keeping the Guardian of Nor active. And let's see, where is Lurtzer's here at? So, Wolf Guard Commander's going to grab this outpost here. Got all the sectors except the Medusa one on his side. Once he's got this. See if either of these players picked up items. Upgrading that scouting post is just going to help clear out this camp, take some pressure off the Guardian of Nor. So Lurtzer has gone for tier 2 armor and weapon. I like to see that. I am fond of getting tier 2 armor and weapon, or at least one or the other, as a build-up, as opposed to just waiting to get tier 3. I think it has a decent game impact. Surely there's context to each individual game, whether or not that's the best move or not, but I would say generally speaking it can be beneficial to do that.
Let's get to work.
And then Lurtzer's got some infantry to accompany the Wolf Guard Commander. Check army counts here.
I am at your command.
Yep, 7 infantry, so going straight infantry spam, and Zizi's going straight tarantulas. And Lurtzer is doing a good job of expanding as well. All of the sectors except 1 are upgraded. Same thing for Zizi. Zizi on the way to tier 2.
That should work.
Lurtzer, I forget if this is the tier 2 or not. Still on tier 1, but I figure that'll be in the works. Definitely stone heavy, but that will help when Lurtzer does go tier 2. It'll help getting to the getting iron mines and a forge set up. So Zizi came here to compete for this Medusa camp, and looked like she picked off an infantry man, and she might be able to do the same again. Great habit to build is, you know, if your opponent has a better army than yours, take a peek at their health bars and see if there's a unit that has very low health, like this guy here. And she already did this multiple times. And you know, pick off one of the heroes that has low health, you know, get that kill, experience in gold, and then just run out. Don't take a enduring engagement. And right here, same thing. This infantryman's by himself. I would just stay here and just fight one-on-one. If the rest of the army is going to sit back, you can take this, and that's a free kill right there. But she's playing cautious, doesn't want to get caught out, and she's got other stuff to pay attention to while that's going on. So upgrading this iron sector back here. Since she's upgraded to tier 2, she's going to want to have this upgraded and get her safe iron on these 2 back corner sectors. Had the tarantulas coming forward to see what they could do as well. Lurtzer's kept this scout alive, and looks like he's got the defensive aura here, so that's cool. I love to see the auras used on the Wolf Guard Commander. I'm not too familiar with how useful the auras are early game versus late game. From what I've heard, they tend to be better later in the game, but I would like to see some rebalancing of the Wolf Guard Commander's skills so that it's viable or reasonable to try to build auras earlier in the game, and instead of going for a straight damage build, maybe buff up some troops that'll help you with creeping and in early engagements. But I could also see the logic of having, you know, some skills that are better prioritized for early game and don't scale the same way. I'm not a game designer, so there's certainly a lot more to look into than what I'm seeing immediately in the game. Now, Lurtzer looks like he's coming to apply some pressure, and if you're looking to pressure sectors, I could see this armor aura being a good thing, because you can attack these sector centers without getting punished as much from their fire. Ooh, let's see if he picks off this iron mine. Zizi sees this and is reacting to it. So that's pretty good damage output, you know? Good squad of infantry to support the wolf guard, a couple arbalists, and then you probably back out here, right? So that's good. Lurtzer understands. You know, took out a valuable building. Can back up. Don't have to take the engagement. I would almost keep backing up here, but it's so hard to do the calculations of when it's good and when it's not to take an engagement. For me, particularly because I don't fully understand the damage output of the different units and the heroes, especially early in the game. I guess heroes have more of an impact on the battles early on because they've got spells and whatnot that can do so much burst damage, whereas you don't really have any high damage output units early in the game that are just going to shred, you know, a whole squad within a 10-15 second period. So sleepers on the field for Zizi. Pretty equal populations. Lurtzer's going to want to get a billet up soon, although he's sunk on wood, so got some rebalancing to do with the economy. But this is good. He's keeping busy with his scout, and like, you know, regardless of we'll see how he plays with this scout as the game goes, but I will say I like the amount of activity that Lurtzer is putting into this scout. A lot of times I see people forget about their scout and it dies early in the game, and then that's kind of it for the rest of the match. Well, Lurtzer's kept that scout alive, and being able to keep an eye on what you're... Ooh, is that Guardian going to go down? Yep, so that's a good pick for Lurtzer. So, being able to keep an eye on your opponent's sectors and what they're doing can be so important. You know, understanding what resources they're prioritizing and if they're tier 2 yet, what kind of units they're trying to get, can really help a lot. And even if you don't fully understand unit counters and everything in the game, practicing scouting and just getting used to seeing what your opponent is up to is a very good habit to establish. A couple more units. So Lurtzer's got a rally point back there, just on the border. So the Guardian of Nora is back, but you know, Lurtzer's applying good pressure, and I figure, you know, part of that is because once he killed the hero, he knew, okay, I have an advantage on the field, so I can go out and apply some pressure on economy or whatever. But now it's probably a good time to get out of here. We'll see. Good focus on the hero, and got the Guardian of Nora again. So, you know, that's another good habit, using your damage dealers, especially ranged damage dealers, to pick on a melee hero. Because when you're doing that versus a melee hero with these arbalists, as long as that Guardian of Nora is coming into the front line, you're not risking the arbalists by running into the fray. If you have a ranged hero on the enemy and they're standing behind the front line, if you try to target them with all your ranged units, they're going to kind of run into the melee, and then they're subject to getting attacked by you know, whatever units the other army has. So, good targeting by Lurtzer. Zizi's doing a good job of moving her army around and making sure that Lurtzer has to come and commit to attacking a structure before she takes an engagement. She'll definitely want to be repairing this, so she got to it, but it's a little bit late there, so she'll lose this sector. But we'll see once her hero meets back up with her army if she can retake this. This is probably a fight she could... Maybe she's like close to, if not ready to take this fight because of the amount of sleepers that she has on the field. Just got to be careful of clumping up like that. I think one thing that we'll see develop in the meta is people using the select all military units button less and setting up more individual groups. So, you know, say setting frontline units, you know, melee units as one attack group, and then setting range units as another group, and then kind of moving them around separately, because you can get yourself, especially against a Wolfguard commander, in some precarious positions when you run a ball of units forward. She can just leap into that squad and then get a, what is that, Earth Shatter? Get an Earth Shatter off on the whole squad. I will say, and maybe part of this is from me having played the Total War series for so long, but I would also love to see players using the click and drag function when they're moving their armies. I think having a wider formation is beneficial for the first two reasons that come to mind are: one, if you have an enemy here that's using an area of effect spell, if you have a wide formation as opposed to a square, you're going to be less susceptible to getting hit by area of effect spells. Two, you have less problems with your units running into each other's backs and taking time to inefficiently get into the engagement. If you have a wide formation, your melee troops especially are going to deal with less problems of taking inefficient combat where they're kind of clumped up and not able to get around and get into the fray. And you'll have less situations of, say, a line of arbalists or a line of infiltrators that are, you know, the first row of them is shooting, and then the second row is all in single file trying to go around the edges so that they can fight as well. So there we go. Good Earth Shatter by Lurtzer. Not targeting the Guardian of Nor, so Zizi's starting to get some good spells off, and Arbalists are not chunky units, so good soul transformation back out. Be drinking a potion. Yep, that's good. So yeah, I mean, Zizi got in the middle of Lurtzer's squad and was using Soul Explosion and just melted the backline of Arbalists. So, you know, what I was saying earlier about wondering if the meta is going to develop so that people are using separate control groups, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When that engagement starts, ideally, in my mind, you want to have all of your range units set as a separate control group and stagger them back. You know, the whole squad was engaging around this area. I would take all the Arbalists and bring them back to here, and either be firing in at the hero or just doing an attack move. But as long as they're separated from the front line, that is usually going to be a good thing. Now, it's been a while since I looked at items, so I'm going to do a quick peek at that. So tier 2 still for Lurtzer, decent amount of gold to spend, not enough to get a tier 3 armor. And Zizi's on tier 3 shield and tier 1 for the rest. I'm not sure if either of them have picked up any potions or whatnot throughout. I'll check skill builds as well. So Lurtzer's going to the shop, it looks like. So I'll switch to Zizi while he's doing that, and I'll just take a peek back. So Zizi's also going to be going for the Golem, it looks like, but she's on 3 brute force, blocking momentum, 2 deep waters, debilitating blow, soul explosion, 2 soul transformation, and plague field. Lurtzer, on the other hand, is on 3 deep waters, 3 brute force, fatal blow, shadow strike, whirlwind, earthquake, or earth shatter, excuse me, and hymn of tenacity. And let's see how Zizi's doing here. So Zizi's taking his golem out. Oh, just after the spin, but none of these units are going to die because of that. So good, she's picking up one of these tier 3 sectors. Although I guess for the Dark Elves it doesn't provide any resources, so I guess you just get farms and maybe technology buildings there. But you can see Zizi's got border fortresses and 4 of her territories held, so she's doing a good job macroing. She did pick up a soul shield. I might not have mentioned that earlier. Ooh, she got the Noria's command amulet. Maybe she picked that up from this golem. Excuse me. So Lurtzer at the shop looks like picked up some healing potions, because otherwise we would see something that we didn't notice before. It looks like there's going to be an engagement in the field. Now, Zizi appears to be macroing better behind all this, and I'm saying that because of the population count. Now, part of that was the last engagement. Lurtzer lost a lot of units in that last engagement, but oh wow, and yeah, so Lurtzer is tier 3. He's got champions out on the field. Not too many, but at any point in the game, seeing champions in the human composition is a good thing. For the human player, I should say. Now the level disadvantage it seems to be showing. This Guardian of North is putting out a lot of damage, and this Wolfguard is hurting. And yeah, I'd be drinking a potion, and I would be very cautious about taking this engagement. You know, I'd be fighting around the outpost, so Lurtzer is making a good move, I think. Backing up, not taking an unnecessary engagement out in the field. Zizi's got a Basilisk out, so she can start applying pressure in a siege. And we'll see how she does this. Another Basilisk, so just accompanying these things that she pushes forward. If you've got long range siege units, never feel like you have to go up to the sector center. I know it's a habit to kind of just send your army in when you see your opponent's army. Actually, I'm gonna slow down here and see how this plays out. A lot of sleepers. And you can see them clumping up behind each other. This is what I'm talking about with the wide formation. Less of this kind of stuff going on where you got sleepers trying to run around the edges just so they can get a single hit off. But the Wolfguard commander's down. Basically the whole army is down at this point. Zizi's doing a good job of keeping the Basilisk fire in the background. Their siege damage is not going to make a huge difference in this engagement that just happened, and so having them attacking the sector center is just a great habit. Oftentimes, siege units are not going to change the outcome of a infantry battle much, and so if you're attacking the enemy sector, just have them focus on the sector center. You know, make your opponent waste resources on repairs. You know, maybe make them try to retarget some of their units that are in the battle to go and attack the siege to push them off the sector center. Whatever the case, but good play to both players. You saw Zizi got the level advantage and really took off with the hero there. The Wolfguard lost a little bit of its bite at the end of the game. Decent economy balance. You know, floating resources, but generally good balance of resources there for both players. Zizi, you know, maybe could have used some more production facilities to keep units pumping out, but at the end of the game there was kind of a long engagement, so you're going to end up floating in a situation like that most of the time. For Lurtzer, I would say one thing to keep in mind is that you can macro more behind. So he was tier 3, so he did a good job getting up, but all of this could have been, you know, basically, well, not basically, actually 6 territories, so all 6 of these territories upgraded. This one was already a border fortress, excuse me, so... But you get the idea. You know, if you're consistently using your resources and making sure, when I say the term macro, for newer players, I'm talking about making sure that you're expanding your sectors, expanding your economy, and just keeping your resource production growing throughout the game. If Lurtzer had been able to get all these sectors upgraded with these spare resources that he had, he would have had more income to get more barracks up, to produce more units and whatnot, and just keep competing. And again, it's easier said than done. Real-time strategy games are not simple, and they're not easy, especially at a high level. But you know, something that you can focus on in a future game. Take a quick look at the post-game stats. So pretty good amount of units produced on both players. You know, it was a pretty even game until the end when Zizi kind of snowballed. There was a fight where Lurtzer lost a lot of units to some soul explosions, a lot of Arbalists especially. And that really turned the game around in my opinion. And, you know, that's one of those small things where just being able to keep your units spread apart so that they're not taking, you're limiting the area of effectability of your enemy's hero, that can make such a huge difference. Good hero activity. A lot of damage dealt by both heroes, especially for the duration of the game. And quickly breeze through these. Let's see if there's anything that sticks out. Right, you notice the difference in macro over the game. Not huge, but you know, 15%, maybe a 15% difference or so. Jeez. Yep, that was and I think this was the fight that I was talking about where a bunch of Arbalists and infantry went down. Either way, good game. So that's 1-0 to Zizi, and I'll see you on the next one.